I just need to get Luke to turn.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to qualifying for this weekend's TCR UK and Dunlop Touring Car Trophy, rounds 5 and 6 of the 2019 season here at a beautiful Croft Circuit in North Yorkshire. It's going to be a 25-minute session to decide who starts where for the first of two races tomorrow. Scott Woodwiss here in the commentary box to give you all the details on the session. And it's been a bit of an energetic season so far, with plenty of talking points in both of the first two meetings at Alton Park and last time out at Donington Park as the cars head out onto the circuit. And we should tell you that we have 5 TCR UK cars here and 2 Dunlop Touring Car Trophy cars, which we'll tell you about more in detail as the session goes on. So looking back to what happened last time out at Donington Park, it was what looked as though possibly could have been on course for 2 victories for Lewis Kent, but fate decided to intervene otherwise. It was running out of fuel on the last lap, which prevented him taking the victory in race 1, and then a rear suspension problem after clouting the curbs too hard took him out of race 2, and that in turn left Max Coates to pick up the victory in both races in the Touring Car Trophy spec Seat Leon. Sadly, Max Coates not here this weekend, but we do have, of course, the 2 Cupras that are here this weekend that raced last time at Donington Park, but we can give you the drivers as to who is where in the cars this weekend. So the regulars for this weekend so far, it's good to, of course, we've got Lewis Kent in at number 38, Essex and Kent Motorsport, Hyundai i30N TCR. And Lewis, of course, has been... He's had the pace to be quick, and he has been up at the front, and he's proven that he is a front runner. That is Alex Day in the ex-Rob Austin Audi A4, which is affectionately known as Sherman, car number 101. Team more about him in a second, but Lewis Kent, of course, is the driver. He's been pretty quick. This is Henry Neal, of course, son of 3-time British touring car champion Matt Neal, and he's in one of Matt's ex Team Dynamics run Honda Civic Type R NGTC touring cars. And of course, Team Dynamics here running Henry here this weekend, as they are all season. And Henry, of course, has applied his craft in Mini Challenge in the past, but he's going to try and make some improvements as he goes through the season. He's been effectively, in many cases, the top Touring Car Trophy runner throughout the year, and he will try and improve as much as he can. It's not the only driver with some touring car driver pedigree, because also we've got out there this weekend once again James Turkington, who is the brother of three-time champion and current points leader in the British Touring Car Championship, Colin Turkington. So James is out there once again in the Seat Cupra, or in the Cupra TCR car, which he drove last time out at Donington Park. But he started the season in his own Seat Leon Super Copper that he's been racing over in Ireland, but switched over to the TCR, and we believe he's in that car for the rest of the season. Couple of differences from what we were expecting this weekend. One driver we were hoping to have this weekend was Warren Scott. Now, he was down to be here this weekend, and what I understand definitely was going to be a year-old Subaru Levorg, which was an ex-Team BMR machine. Sadly, though, from what I understand, he suffered a road accident on Tuesday and was unable to compete as a result of that. So we send our best wishes to Warren. If he is watching, hopefully you make a speedy recovery, and hopefully we see you out on track in the Touring Car Trophy very, very soon at some point this year, once you're all healed up. Also, we weren't supposed to see another car out here this weekend in the Touring Car Trophy. That was supposed to be the Ford Focus NGTC car. That was supposed to be driven by Richard Woods. Now, Richard is here, but sadly the Focus isn't, because they've been having some electrical problems, which apparently even Cosworth, who are known to be masters of Ford engines, can't even solve the problems at the moment. They're having difficulties. So sadly the Focus isn't here, but we do have Richard Woods here, and he's in the same Cupra which Mark Wakefield and Carl Swift has run this season, so he's in that class and running well so far. Now, this is the ever-present Darrell Wilson in the DW Racing Vauxhall Astra TCR. You can't miss it on track. It is bright green, number 50, and he's always someone who is a joy to watch on a circuit in TCR UK. He put on a great show with some great entertaining driving at Donington Park. He was up there possibly for third place, case in point, sideways on the exit of the second part of the Jim Clark S's. You can't fault Darren Wilson for effort. He certainly does push this thing as hard as possible. Currently, fastest time of the session so far initially has gone to Richard Woods, and he currently sits at the moment with a 1 minute 28.483 only, and also now Henry Neal's just popped in the fastest lap of the session. The man on track on screen at the moment there, that is Sunny Wong, the man from Hong Kong, who is in the Teamwork Huff Motorsport. The Huff stands for former World Touring Car Champion Rob Huff, who's worked in conjunction with Teamwork Motorsport. And there is the man who was quite a talking point at Donington Park, but his opinion, I'm sure, all the wrong reasons in many cases, Lewis Kent. Now, that car we know is quick. We know Lewis is quick. It's just the bad luck that he's had over the last couple of weekends. He had some issues at Donington Park, which prevented him from even running in the day during qualifying in the race. Then he showed front-running pace, battling with Max Coates. Retired from both the races at Donington Park from the lead at both times. As Alex Days found the grass, had gone for a bit of a spin. It looks to be, I think that's down at Sunny and then Sunny out, I think. So pushing a little bit too hard is Alex as he bounds his way back onto the track in the Audi A4. Back onto the circuit he goes. So far, as we said, Henry Neal has the fastest competitive lap time as he flashes the headlights to signal that he is coming through. And 1 minute 25.371 is the best time that he's set so far. Darrell Wilson has popped for Henry Neal and also for Lewis Kent, who should be winding up for another lap. This should be a fast lap for Sunny Wong here in the number 12 Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR. Of course, that car has been jointly run with, I believe it's Sicily Motorsport and also Teamwork Huff Motorsport, who are being assisted by Sicily. And of course, they're getting some advice from Rob Huff, who has run with that team before in TCR competitions over in Asia. Lewis Kent goes through the shot in car number 38. Of course, that's his number he's carried for a while. Sunny Wong goes to second fastest. Good to see him on the pace. 1 minute 24.718 to go just over 6/10 off the fastest time set by Henry Neal. And we're now waiting for both James Turkington and Lewis Kent to set their times. There's James. And that's the same car which Stuart Lynes, who is now the coordinator for the championship in TCR UK and the Dunlop Touring Car Trophy. That's the car he campaigned mainly last year in TCR UK. That car's also been driven by last year's vice champion, which was Ollie Taylor, and the end of one of the races at Alton Park didn't end the way he was hoping, which he was battling with Henry Neal. Then the pair made contact and both ended their race in the tyres, sadly, but Taylor's now moved on to bigger and brighter things as Sunny Wong makes his way through the Jim Clark S's. He's got still, as we say, 1 minute 24.718 to find. Now, Lewis Kent has now just set his first time out in terms of a flying lap. That's 1 minute 24.242, so he goes second fastest. James Turkington has also set his first competitive lap time, and it puts him into third quickest with 1 minute, so fourth quickest, my apologies, 1 minute 25.638. So everyone so far has set effectively a competitive lap time. The only real exception is Alex Day. I know they've had some suspension problems with that car in the past and had some issues with that back at Donington Park, but hopefully they can get that car back up to full strength, because it's great to see Sherman still running. We saw Henry Neal there with the rear end dancing around under brakes as he pitches it through Tower Corner and up towards the Jim Clark S's. It's always a very high speed part of the circuit as they turn their way through, using all the runoff area on the exit, and then a sprint down towards Barcroft. But now Henry Neal is chasing the time on screen in the bottom left, because Lewis Kent now goes fastest in the session, 1 minute 23.555. So he's now on provisional pole position by over half a second. So great effort from Lewis in the high-end i30N at TCR to go fastest, and the first man to dip underneath 1 minute 24. So Sonny Wong now has got a target to try and beat here, currently third fastest. Of course, last year we had TCR UK. It was mainly dominance by a Volkswagen Golf GTI. It was at the wheel of Dan Lloyd, who eventually went on to take the championship. And the Volkswagen does still succeed around the world. Of course, it's campaigned in the World Touring Car Cup, or WTCR, and it's campaigned by the likes of, in the past by Rob Huff, but also by as well. He's a rocking driver, but I've for some reason forgotten his name. But Johan Christofferson's another one as well, and Mehdi Benani's also driven that car as well as a Volkswagen. It was good to see Sonny adapted to the British circuits pretty well. Had a decent first time out at Alton Park. Missed Donington, I'm presuming because of other commitments, but is back here at Croft to try and resume his 2019 championship charge. James Turkington being chased down by him. Turkington being chased by Neal. Where have we heard that before? It's Turkington brother versus Neal son. So that's the battle that's going on at the moment. Just flashing to the back end of the shot there, we saw Lewis Kent's top of the orange Hyundai moving through. A little bit off the road there goes Henry Neal as he heads down towards the complex. The end of another lap. We've had some personal bests now, both from Sonny Wong and James Turkington. Turkington about to finish off another lap here as he just lifts the inside rear wheel. Just shows how stiffly sprung some of these cars are as he heads onto the pit straight. He's got 1:24.567 to beat. Across the line he goes and does improve up to third fastest, so 1 minute 24.380. And also Henry Neal has improved his time, but only fractionally, 1 minute 23.776. So he's brought the gap down between himself and current provisional pole man Lewis Kent to less than a quarter of a second. So there's still more time to find out there. Remember, of course, that the Croft Circuit, for those in the know, was resurfaced just before the beginning of the season. So this is effectively, for the most part, brand new tarmac on this circuit. So the circuit, the grip levels they've got this year is different to those which the TCR cars experienced last year. So just trying to adapt here. So of course Lewis Kent will be able to make a direct comparison to last year. Hello, we've got three cars all in one part of the circuit here. James Turkington makes his way past Richard Woods as the other Cupra keeps firmly out of the way. He also lets Henry Neal through. It's good driving from Richard, well done, keeping himself out of trouble. Then out through Sonny in and Sonny out now with just about half the session left to go. It's a 25-minute qualifying session. We're coming up to half distance here. Of course, this is rounds 5 and 6. We see Darrell Wilson back out on track in the DW Racing bright green Vauxhall Astra TCR. He's had a full season or so to get up to that car, and of course Darrell Wilson, looking back at his record throughout his time in racing so far, which I would have a look, but information is in front of me here. We'll look at Sonny Wong though. Sonny has done plenty in his racing career. He started back in 2009, raced at Formula Renault level, and he's also gone through to, he's raced in the HTCC Group N2000. He's also been a China GTC class champion. And he's also focused on the Chinese Touring Car Championship, which we do see quite a few British drivers go over and compete in. The likes of, we've seen Alan Morgan go over there, even Colin Turkington has gone over there and raced as well, so has Rob Huff. So certainly is a developing market out there, Chinese motorsport. And also he focused mainly on TCR China. He was last year's TCR China champion, and he also won the Macau GP Food for You Cup winner. So he was obviously one of the top men competing at Macau over that weekend last year. It's great to see that he's been able to move across to the UK circuits. and also bringing the Teamwork Motorsport with them, and of course hooking up with Rob Puff, who is somebody who knows TCR and is a big advocate of the championship inside out, is certainly going to be a help. There goes Alex Day in the HMS Racing Run Audi A4. Could see that car back up to full speed and back out on the road now, so hopefully we can see a couple more competitive times here from Alex. Alex, of course, in car number 101. He has formerly been a Genessa Junior racer. He's been also raced in Junior Saloon cars previously as well. He's also had multiple wins and podiums in the Brit Car Endurance Series, so we've got plenty of racing under, even though he's only 20 years old. Plenty of racing experience in the last few years, and now he gets a proper chance to prove his craft at in a touring car. Probably not like that, he shouldn't be, because locking up at the first part of Sunny Inn isn't going to help his lap time, as he now will surely wind up for another one as Sunny Wong starts to make progress behind him as well. So just to confirm where we are in times then, Lewis Kent leads the way now, as it appears he's further extended the gap now to the fastest time, because now, in fact, possibly I think we've had a lap time removed from Henry Neal, because that gap was about 0.2 per second, but I think he's had that faster lap time removed for some reason by the stewards, because the gap is now back up to over half a second. So Lewis Kent currently fastest in this qualifying session, followed by Henry Neal in second, James Turkington third, followed by Sonny Wong fourth. Richard Woods has moved up to fifth fastest now on his last flying lap, with a 1:25.640 to go fifth fastest, and then Darrell Wilson sixth, and then this man Alex Day towards the bottom of the times. So Alex Day now makes his way down the back straight, foot to the floor as he heads towards Tower Corner. And that singing engine note of the NGTC engine as he heads up to it. We're going to wait to see. You see just how warm it is here this weekend. You see the heat haze coming off the circuit. As we say, the ambient temperature is around 17, 18 degrees. The track temperature, I'm sure, will be somewhere around, I'm sure, the mid to high 20s, if not even the low 30s. So it certainly is warm out there. Here are the two Cupras in flying formation. James Turkington just ahead of Richard Woods. They make their way down towards Clairvaux. As we say, James Turkington third fastest and Richard Woods behind him fifth fastest. So James trying to make the most of his experience. And there is Henry Neal in number 42. Currently, at the moment, will provisionally start on the front row of the grid, but he needs to find at least half a second now to pull himself back up into pole position. It's James Turkington, as we see Richard Woods is going rather slowly on the back straight. Was that him pulling off the road, sadly? I'm not sure if it was. It looked as though he was slowing up to pull off onto the one of the escape roads. Yes, unfortunately he has. There it is. Unfortunately, the number 4 car, Richard Woods, the Cupra, has pulled to a stop by the side of the road on the back straight towards Tower Corner, I'm afraid. So that car in some strife. So it's not much luck for Richard Woods so far. His Focus won't play ball, and at the moment, neither will the Cupra. So having a bit of a tough time so far this season, but I'm sure we'll get him out on the circuit trouble-free very, very shortly. Henry Neal allows Turkington through to complete his flying lap. We've still got 8.25 minutes to go in this qualifying session for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2019 TCR UK Championship and Dunlop Touring Car Trophy. Again, as James Turkington hooks the Cupra around the hairpin and Henry Neal sprints for the pits. Looking back at Henry's experience, of course, he's raced before. He won his first race in 2017. He's also won mini challenge races in the JCW class, and a red flag. Red flag's been thrown. The session's been stopped, and I imagine that must be for Richard Woods' stranded Cupra on the back straight, because the clerk of the course deemed it in a dangerous position, so they're going to have to move it. Otherwise, I think they've possibly got a point, because if someone does lose it off the exit of the S's onto the back straight, it will mean that might be in a bit of a precarious position, and the aftermath might not be pretty. So there's an opportunity now for the drivers to kind of just gather themselves back up again before they head out for the last 7.5-minute shootout, try and grab pole position. So Richard Woods' car, I think, will just be pulled behind the barriers, then they'll go ahead and recover that in time, because racing, of course, takes place with the first race tomorrow. First race of the day and the first race of tomorrow's live stream, so be sure to tune in for that, as Alex Day brings the HMS Racing Audi A4 NGTC into pit lane. Currently sat in 6th fastest, because he managed to pick up a competitive time of 1:25.288, which means he's managed to usurp this man, Darrell Wilson, in the number 50 DW Racing Vauxhall Astra. So this could be a bit of a battle here for 6th position. in the times. Quick recap of where we are then. Lewis Kent at the red flag currently sits on provisional pole, 123.555, followed by Henry Neal in second fastest, 124.106, followed by James Turkington, third fastest, 1 minute 24.380. Sonny Wong is currently fourth quickest, 124.413. Just saw him heading down the pit lane in the background. There's James Turkington heading to the pit lane, as we said, third quickest. Fifth fastest, but stopped out on track, is Richard Woods. And then we have Alex Day and Darrell Wilson. We should talk about Lewis Kent's experience before. Before he got to racing, he came into karting, he was a driver who made his way up in the ranks, starting in the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship, which is for many 14 to 16, 17-year-olds who want to get a start out of racing fresh into karting. And a lot of top drivers have come through that way. Bobby Thompson's come through there, of course, into touring cars, as has Aidan Moffat. Jack Mitchell, who of course started in the first season in 2012, has gone on to become the 2018 British GT4 champion, solo, because he had two different teammates over last year. Rory Collingbourne, who's been a star in Porsche Carrera Cup and also Lamborghini Super Trofeo. He was also set to make a couple of appearances in British GT this year at the wheel of an Aston Martin, but hasn't done so far this year. And plenty of other drivers have come through. Champions have gone through to the likes of Mini Challenge and the Toka package and whatnot. It's a great stepping stone to the championship. We should mention in a couple of weeks' time, at the next rounds of where TCR UK on that weekend is going to happen, there will be a sampler session for anyone who has a 14, 16-year-old racer or possibly going to be that age into the championship next year, who wants to get involved. If you want more information, then head to the website brscc.co.uk. Also get in touch by contacting the BRSCC HQ, and I'm sure they'll be able to find out. Places are limited, but it gives you a chance to possibly sample a Fiesta Junior race car if you have a younger racer who wants to get out on track during a race meeting, and doing so only £250. You get a full day where you get a little bit of car familiarisation, some simulator work, a little bit of an insight into media and sponsorship work as well. It's a great way to introduce yourself to the championship, and also a great chance to be part of a race weekend and to watch cars like these in the TCR UK and Dunlop Touring Car Trophy Championships. A great chance for you guys to see that one. So be sure to visit brscc.co.uk and also brsccfiestajunior.com for more information on the sampler session that's coming up at the end of the month at Brands Hatch. Back to the session here at Croft, and Darrell Wilson might possibly figure with 6.5 minutes to go that his session could be done, because he's out of the car looking a little bit hot and bothered. Just having a chat with a couple of his engineers here. He's currently sat, as we said, seventh in the times, and he was pipped just before the red flag by Alex Day. So the session's back underway now. Green flag and the circuit's been cleared. It's good work by the marshals and the recovery teams. We should give a shout out, of course, to our fantastic British marshals. Always hard working, no matter if it's pouring down with rain or like today in baking hot sunshine. They always give their effort and their free time. Remember, all the marshals that are here, they're all volunteers. They don't get paid for this. It's because they do it for the sport they love and they want to be close up to the action. And genuinely, being a marshal is arguably the most vital part of a race weekend, because without them, and without rescue crews and anyone else who is a volunteer here this weekend, Richard Woods' car wouldn't have been recovered that quickly. We wouldn't have had the cars recovered from the Compact Cup race earlier on as quick as possible. It would take a lot longer to bring out safety cars and red flags and to organise them. Marshals and volunteers play an absolutely vital part of any race weekend, no matter how big or small, from the British Grand Prix weekend all the way through to weekends like this. It is a vital job being a marshal, even though it is voluntary. And so please do say thank you to any marshals that you see on any race weekend. And if you want more information on how to become one, you can visit your local racetrack. You can have a chat to a marshal that way and always find out information. But also you can head to the BMMC website, the British Motorsport Marshals Club website. Get yourself signed up, get yourself onto a taste today, become a marshal, experience what it's like, and experience motorsport like you may not have experienced it before, because it is certainly worth it. And I can tell you as a fact, British marshals genuinely are the best in the world. We're certainly enjoying a good qualifying session here, watching these TCR cars and, of course, turbo touring cars thundering around Croft Circuit. Here's Sonny Wong back onto a flying lap out of the pit lane. He's got a nice clear track around him as he's going to try and head off onto a flyer once again. You see how hot it's getting on track. You see the heat haze blazing as it ripples across the circuit at the bottom of the shot. Sonny Wong now, with just under 4.5 minutes to go, gets an opportunity to try and haul himself possibly a position higher onto the grid. Just runs a little onto the grass on the exit, using all the road as he can as he sprints down towards Clairvaux. Just over 4 minutes left in the session. Let's see what he can do then. Up towards Clairvaux, the right-hander, braking hard. It looks tight. It looks tight. It's tight corner, but it's actually faster than it looks. Up to a little kink of Hawthorns around the right-hander, then the quick flick left through the S's. Just hearing that the problem for Richard Woods was a snap drive shaft, so that's some work for the HSG team to get that car hopefully fixed overnight in time for the race tomorrow. So it's a shame for mechanical dramas for Richard then. Sonny Wong using all the track and a little bit more as he heads up towards Jim Clark S's. Plenty of pace he carries through that sequence, and then up towards the flat-out right-hander of Barcroft, maybe a little lift, and then hard on the brakes as he pitches the Golf. It locks the inside front a little bit, bouncing over the curves. You can't fault this lap for commitment from Sonny Wong as he turns onto the short straight towards the complex. And now the sprint towards the final few corners. Now then, he'll be looking to try and improve on a time of, at the moment, 1 minute 24.041. Actually, that last time he set actually put him up into second quickest. And he is at now less than half a second. So Sonny Wong then has found some time on that last lap we just saw him, now winding up for another one. This one arguably looks quicker, but is it quicker in the times? Across the line goes the Hong Kong driver, and that last lap goes to be a 1:24.599. So actually, he lost half a second. So he's going to wind up for another one. And now the track a bit more busy. We see Darrell Wilson, James Turkington, Alex Day, and Lewis Kent. Now, Lewis Kent now has got just under half a second's advantage on Sonny Wong and the rest of the field. He wants to try and maintain that for the remaining 2.5 minutes if he can. So Lewis Kent, arguably the pace setter at Donington Park, but just bad luck befell him in those two races with running out of fuel on the last lap in what looked to be effectively almost a dead cert victory, and then just landing on a curb awkwardly in the battle for the lead in race 2 with Max Coates. He just bent the left rear suspension out of shape, and under brakes the rear end was squirming around like anything. But thankfully the car looks to be in tip-top condition now as he turns his way through Hawthorns to begin a lap. He's laying down rubber as he tries to get the power down through the S's, foot to the floor as he heads up through the gears and towards Tower Corner. Alex Day chasing him down in the 101 HMS Racing Audi A4. Look at that, big commitment from Lewis Kent. Again, the rear end squirming around as he locks an inside front through Tower Corner, and now back towards Jim Clark S's. It's not a race, but you're seeing Darrell Wilson being chased down by James Turkington, who might not appreciate the Vauxhall in his way at the moment as he's on a flying lap. As they head out of the complex, Sunny in and Sunny out, Darrell obliges and lets him through to complete the lap. As through comes Lewis Kent. Now then, as we say, 1 minute 23.555 is his current provisional pole time. Is he about to go faster, or has the ever-increasing track temperature possibly altered the performance somewhat? Of course, remember, it's still a relatively green circuit. We have had qualifying all this morning and free practice for the TCR and TCT cars out there before lunch all this morning, so the circuit's still rubbering in over the weekend, and Lewis Kent does improve his time, 1:23.309 to remain provisionally fastest, but now extends his fastest time now to almost 3/4 of a second. So the signs look good for tomorrow. If he can just hold on for the next 30 seconds and for the last couple of flying laps in, it'll be Lewis Kent with his second consecutive TCR UK pole position. The only question is, will he then be able to transition it into a race victory finally, after missing out even getting onto the track at Alton Park and then missing out both times with issues at Donington. Alex Day now up to 5th with his best time recently, 1:24.851 was his personal best at last time past the start-finish line. He's now looking to try and improve on that. So we can find, he's going to find about 7 more tenths to try and get up there with James Turkington, to try and usurp him of 4th place. Pitches the Audi A4 into the first part as Sonny Wong heads past the pits. Checker flag flies on the session here for TCR UK and the Dunlop Touring Car Trophy. The qualifying session has come to an end, but of course the rule states that if you're on a flying lap, you are allowed to finish it. So Lewis Kent was backing off, I think, on that last lap, which means that he will miss out. James Turkington comes across the line. Currently 4th, goes to 2nd with that last effort. Fantastic last lap from James Turkington. Up onto the front row of the grid, 1:23.677. And what does Alex Day have in reserve? Across the line goes the Audi. and his time is going to be a 1:24.914, so he's actually about a tenth off his personal best, but he won't improve. And so it looks as though this man right here will start race 1 tomorrow at Croft on pole position in the TCR UK and Dunlop Touring Car Trophy. Lewis Kent provisionally has secured pole position for race number 1. James Turkington, there's your man that's going to start provisionally on the front row. A cracking final effort from James Turkington. That will be quite an interesting sprint down towards Clairvaux at the start tomorrow. Sonny Wong wasn't able to improve too much after this lap he set just after the restart. That was the third quickest time of 1:24.041. Henry Neal will have to start from the second row of the grid, but didn't really go back out in the last 7.5 minutes of the session. But here's confirmation of the provisional result from qualifying. Lewis Kent is on provisional pole for tomorrow's first race of the TCR UK Touring Car Championship and Dunlop Touring Car Trophy. James Turkington in the Cupra will start alongside him on the front row. Then Sonny Wong is third fastest from Henry Neal in the NGTC, the first of the Dunlop Touring Car Trophy cars, with Alex Day fifth fastest. Richard Woods, who we think has a suspected snap drive shaft, will hopefully get that car repaired to start from sixth. And then Darrell Wilson with also some work to do in the Vauxhall Astra TCR to start from seventh on the grid. So the first race will take place at around about just after 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to kick off our first race for tomorrow's live stream, because coming up next we get back into racing action with the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship. But for now, from TCR UK, we'll catch you tomorrow for race number 1.
Part of Lewis Kent's setup. Now that was a mighty impressive qualifying time, wasn't it?
I was expecting it. I was hoping it's been fast all weekend. Yesterday was good, and today's even quicker. And I'm expecting him to carry that to the racing as well tomorrow.
Really? Well, for us it was quite a shock. Not that he's not capable of doing it, but now tomorrow comes along. We've seen him this year. He's a slightly different driver from last year. We could do it.
So welcome back to racing action here on this TCR UK race weekend. We're heading on to single-seaters now with the first of 3 races for the weekend for